Glad you're here with us on Morning Express. It is now just gone 10 minutes after 7 right here in Nairobi, Kenya. It's time for The Way It Is. And let me introduce our guests this morning, our panelists. And starting from my extreme left, we have Anoa Akala, who is the Secretary, Science and Technology, ODM. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Next to him, we have Honorable David Kosing, who is the MP for West Pokot. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Ambrose Weda, who is a lawyer.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, and apologies from Senator Hassan Omar, who is a regular on this particular show, but for reasons that he could not get over, he was not able to make it to the show today, but there we go. Well, thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen. And before we start our show, we'd just like to brush our memory on the speech that we had from the president on Jamhuri Day. So let's just start off with that and listen to what some of the things that the president had to say to Kenya.
Ya kunipinga na kufanya mambo ambayo inaharibu uchumi wa nchi hii. Kwa sababu jameni, unataka Wakenya waumie kwa sababu unachukia uhuru. Kama unachukia uhuru, ngoja wakati wa uchaguzi ukifika, utaenda, utakampeni, nikikushinda ugojee miaka ingine 5, tuendelee. Baada ya hiyo miaka 5, basi mimi nitaondoka, dunia iendelee.
Basically, it's an attempt to try to confuse the public with figures which are not substantiated. This is what it is. So the more they try to explain, the more ridiculous they look in the eyes of the experts. Now, there's no need for EACC to invite me to go to the offices. I've asked those questions. The answers are with the government. They are supposed to go and get answers to the government. The questions I've asked are in public domain. Answer is with your officers. Ask them. Don't try to harass the Odinga with EACC officials. I will not be intimidated with the consequences. What are the consequences? That I'll be arrested. Tell them I've been arrested more than 100 times.
So there we have it, some of the debate that's been going on, and the Eurobond, of course, taking center stage in quite a number of the news headlines. And this is because the opposition leader still insists there is money that is missing, 140 billion Kenyan shillings. However, the government has come out to say that if you have proof of any of that money missing, then come out and tell us where it is. And of course, this has followed a summon by the EACC to the opposition leader Raila Odinga, which he has categorically said that he will not honor, and he has given his reasons for that. So let me start with you, Ambrose Weda, yes. As a lawyer and looking at it from a legal mind and a legal perspective, yes. Is the opposition leader breaking any law by not honoring a summon by EACC?
I think I said when I was here last, that there is so much debris also in the air about this Eurobond. And I remember having said that the man in charge of Treasury should take 2 or 4 pages of the Standard newspaper, by 4 pages, and just explain to Kenyans, we got this amount of money, we gave them, we shared it among these ministries to do the following projects. Can we check whether the projects are there? That is all. It is as simple as that. But as they continue to convolute the conversation, it therefore leads credence to the fact that something is amiss. And as they do that, the debris and the dirt falls on the president. And that is exactly what the opposition wants. And then the EACC are also playing games, theatrics. Theatrics like, we want Raila to come and tell us this, that was a mistake, that was wrong, and I would tell them they should stop that act. They should go and say, Raila is saying 140 billion is lost. Just show Kenyans how much we got, where it went, and then you say, now Raila, this is how it is. If you have something contrary, please let us know. Otherwise, trying to threaten Raila with the arrest actually is like taking the fish out of the land back into the water. He loves it. He will appear as a martyr. He'll become popular. And he has now elevated the discussion between himself and the president. You see, making him more popular. and then making the war look like the war against corruption to look like some side is covering corruption, another one is trying to unearth it. He's trying to make him a saint. And that is just because we are doing a simple thing in a wrong way. The EACC is also telling people, assuming you are a whistleblower, that you whistleblow, then we will arrest you. But the Constitution also says, even the accused person, you know, an accused person is in a worse position than an innocent person. He has a right to silence.
Right.
You can be arrested and then say, I don't talk to no one. So what about Raila, who has not been accused? He can go there and say, I hear nothing, I say nothing. So let us follow, let us give the facts. And then after we have given the facts, let us then say, Raila, this is what we have, Honorable Raila, this is what we have. Either you are now playing politics and nurturing propaganda or something else. But I know, and I would also urge the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the issue, the fight against corruption is a national issue. Let him not politicize it. He has also politicized in such a way that he's bullying the president with it, bullying the country. Even if you bully so much, elections is still a year and a half.
But as a politician, isn't that a valid thing to do, especially keeping the government in check? Because that's
not keeping the government. You cause panic. You actually, you politicize the process. And then you see corruption is all-encompassing. I tell you, I now feel the heat of corruption. I see it. And then you live in fear when you face it. So even the president, when Anglo-Leasing was happening, it is Raila Odinga who are in power. When Triton was happening, he was in charge. So you can never politicize it, because those who do it may not be those at the top. But I think him is using it to prepare ground for 2017. So, my clean government, President Uhuru's government as well. That is the mistake, and that is hurting Kenya. Should stop. If he thinks and he knows and there's evidence, let Honorable Rotich show us how the money has been spent. Let Honorable Raila say, no, what you are saying is not correct. Here it is. And then we swing into action. And I can tell you, the President Uhuru would like people arrested and sacked. Anybody, nobody is beyond his reach.
All right, Noah, let me come to you. And is this just become a political game where Raila is using it just basically to snowball in preparation for 2017?
Well, let me begin by saying that I find His Excellency the President's utterances on Saturday very unfortunate. That clip that you just played for us there, where he was responding to this challenge to publish the accounts of the Eurobond as some sort of personal attack against Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, I think the exact words he used were, kama unachukia Uhuru. When the opposition asks the government that uses taxpayers' money to account for this money, it is not about personal differences. It's about wanting value for money. We are put into the position we've been put by the people of Kenya in order to ensure transparency and accountability from those in office. When we do our job, it should not be seen as a personal attack. Now, regarding these EACC summons, the question that we should be asking ourselves is whether indeed they're properly constituted. Can a commission without commissioners issue summons? As a layperson, I studied the EACC Act, and I found that summons can only be considered properly constituted if sealed by the chairman or if sealed by an individual authorized by the commissioners. There are no commissioners. So under what authority was the CEO acting? And this is the same commission that said that they don't clear 3 cabinet nominees and within 24 hours reverse that statement and say that they're now fit for office. You saw the CEO appearing before the parliamentary subcommittee vetting the nominees on Saturday. I mean, the EACC has become a joke. So how do you take such an institution seriously when it's not even properly constituted? And then, furthermore, this is the only place in Africa, and indeed the world, where a thief can be running away with stolen goods in his possession. A whistleblower says there is a thief, and the authorities come for the whistleblower. Why don't they begin with the person who is being accused of stealing? Why don't they begin their investigations in Treasury? Why don't they issue summons for Bwana Rotich? It doesn't make sense.
Okay. Honorable Kosing, I see you shaking your head. I don't know if it's in agreement or disagreement with Noah.
You see, my brother, Mike, I'm just listening what's going on. And even also what we saw on the Jamhuri Day. The truth of the matter is the president is saying, he's being honest. That's the truth. Because number one here, which I'm happy as well, because, you know, the game began from where is the Eurobond? The money was stolen. That was the beginning of the narrative. Now it is where the money went, which is okay, we are developing, right? Let me tell you this, what is the truth? The truth is the money came, right? And Rotich has been very, very willing. He's put in the papers, he's discussed, he's done everything. And before I explain to that, I want to answer my colleagues here. You know, I want to say this. You know, when Honorable Raila is going on around and talking, you know he's talking. He's not been summoned. He's not been, for example, summoned to be arrested. I don't know where people are getting this misunderstanding that you can be arrested when you go to Anti-Corruption Commission or EACC. You know, what is happening is we want the truth to be put on the table so that at least it is investigated. For example, Mike, how do you investigate from what I say in a public rally? How do you begin an investigation from there? The truth of the matter is it's been asked very simple thing, very simple. Just lay down, just put down, what exactly are you saying? Let's go like this, Mike. One, the money came. That was a problem in the beginning, that, oh, okay, well, the government opened a Euro account offshore, maybe to use there, to confuse Kenyans that maybe the government has spent the money outside, which it never, because that was actually like selling shares. So the money came. How much? 196 billion, right? After 53 or 57 billion was paid on syndicate loan. That has been said. So the money came. Now somebody is asking, what did he do? Let me tell you, Mike. The money came and it funded our budget. And I don't know whether people know the process of budget, right? When you're funding budget, you are fundraising. You know, we do budget, we pass in parliament. That is an estimate. That is a proposal, right? It is upon now Treasury to do what? To fundraise, to be able to meet that budget.
All right, let me just stop you there, Honorable Kosing. And the issue here is not whether the money came. The money did come, and even the fact that it was oversubscribed was a good thing, and nobody's contesting that. The question is, can the government simply tell us where and what happened to the money?
I was going to tell you that. I was going to tell you that. But remember first, and that's why, Mike, let's take Kenyans through the normal process, which is that you do a budget of about, let's say, 3 billion. And then you send to Treasury. Treasury fundraises for the budget. And there are many ways of fundraising for that budget, Mike. One of them is Eurobond, one of them is our taxes, and all other resources upon which government uses to raise for that money, right? So it goes to Treasury. Once it goes to Treasury, ministries make a request. I used to be in government, Mike, and this is an advantage which you should have. I used to be a CEO, right? And at the end of the budget, when you're asking for money, you're asking for what you call exchequer. So you write to Treasury to say, you know what, I need this amount of money according to my budget, which was approved. Then Treasury will send you money, right? It will send you money, but not necessarily telling you, you know what, I have sent you 100 billion, and out of 100 million, there is 50 billion or 50 million from Eurobond. It is what you have requested. The money came, it went to ministries. What we should now do is this. In that budget, which is 2014-2015, what did that money, what did our budget do? That's what we should ask. But in terms of segregating, it's just like an example, Mike, maybe to give you simply. You might be having different sources of income, right, going to your account. One, your salary from KTN. Two, maybe you have a taxi, right? The money is going there. So at the end of the month, if for example, your wife asks you to buy things in Nakumat, you go to ATM and withdraw money. Can you be able to tell us and say, you know what, out of the money I withdrew from my ATM, 10 shillings came from taxi and 100 shillings? It doesn't. It is, yes, it is the budget. We should understand from the point of the budget. What we should ask is, let us go to the ministries. And this is the truth. Even if somebody shakes up the mind or whatever he said, the truth of the matter is, let's go back to the ministry and say, okay, well, you made a budget of 100 million this year. Whether the Ministry of Education, whether that is... and that is the truth.
All right.
The money came, it was used.
Let's hear from Noah, because Noah is completely disagreeing with you.
There are some things Mheshimiwa is getting fundamentally wrong. And I'm really distressed and concerned when I see a lawmaker who's supposed to be upholding the laws of this land speak against those very laws that they passed as parliamentarians. There's the Public Finance Management Act 2012, and we discussed this last week, that dictates that should any funds be sourced by the government, they must go through the consolidated fund. And there's a reason for this, to ensure that shenanigans such as what have been surrounding the Eurobond do not happen. This money went to an offshore account with 2 high-ranking individuals in the Ministry of Finance, Treasury, being the signatories. Why? that was a violation of the national laws in the beginning. The second issue is the Public Finance Management Act dictates that any borrowing done by the government can only be for infrastructure projects. It cannot be for recurrent expenditure. Therefore, his assertion that line ministries should not be able to distinguish where this money is coming from and what this money is for is already clouding the issues. It
Ask
shows
him whether
that
that
he
is a
does
borrowed
not
money.
understand the
Is that
law.
a borrowed money?
The Eurobond
Just a second.
was
Is that a borrowed money?
designated for infrastructure projects. That's what Bwana Rotich said. And he gave out broad outlines of which ministries got which money. But he never told us which projects this went into. In fact, that's why we raised issue with the Eurobond in the first place. When they said that they gave 45 billion shillings to the Ministry of Devolution and Planning, can they demonstrate to us 45 billion shillings worth of infrastructure? You know, that 196 billion that is referring to that came from the Eurobond is an eighth of the national budget. Do you know what kind of impact that would create in Kenyans' lives had that money indeed touched Kenyan soil? He should not take us for people who don't understand what's going
right.
on.
No.
Bwana Weda, your comments on this so far, because it seems like it'll be very difficult to actually get to the bottom of this Eurobond unless...
But let me say this, so that you go to my brother. I wanted to say something small to help him.
Okay, very briefly. Then
Yes,
we come back
just very
to it.
briefly. That, whatever he's saying, that is his opinion, right? And that's what he believes. That is exactly what we are asking, or what the government is asking. I'm not a spokesman of government, you know that. I'm a parliamentarian, and there's a difference between executive and... But I want to say the facts, that if they understand like that, let them go to EACC and put a statement. Let them write, so that EACC has a basis of starting a work. When they refuse to go to the right institutions, and then they talk, how will that help this country, Mike? It won't help.
Familiarize yourself with the
It won't help.
Constitution.
Let's hear from him, Mr. I'll come to you. Let's hear from Weda.
Let us not play politics.
I think that is why we give Honorable Raila and his team the ammunition to shoot us, because we also sidestep issues. The law is very clear. If the money was borrowed, it is for capital or it is for infrastructure. That is one of the things they say, and that is the answer you give them. If we just answered specifically what Honorable Raila and his team are saying,
That would silence
it will be game over. But also on our side, I'm also in Jubilee, but we cannot build the president when a few things go wrong and we cover up, and then it goes on. Otherwise, Honorable Raila will use the vehicle of corruption to sweep us out of power. The Eurobond, if it came, they should show us it came. It was for these projects. This ministry got this, and this is the project. Then we say, Honorable Raila, the ball is back into your court. Bring something else. I remember when he came up with the issue of sugar. Oh, Uganda sugar. Some of us were here to say, the Prime Minister, facts are this. And he backed off. But when we also Jeremiah and Sabratler are out, then he will continue calling moralists and say, we stole the Eurobond, we stole the Euro. And you see my village mate now is very eloquent because we are gerrymandering. So I urge the Treasury, and I urge those who are concerned, please provide these answers. I know the answers are there. I know no money was too late. Provide the answers. We gerrymandered over Madam Waiguru until the noise swept her off. If we continue gerrymandering like this, and then they add with propaganda, because they are cheap propagandists in court, they'll add wrong on a propaganda and a nini, and before you wake up, they shall have swept Honorable Rotich off. Please let us get back our acts in order, put these facts on the table, buy or request for a donation from the Standard on these newspapers and radios and say, the Eurobond was this, we gave this ministry this, it was for these projects are ongoing, here they are, Honorable Raila, anything else?
Honorable Kusing,
Yes.
Why is it so difficult for the government to just publish and say that we all agree that the amount came in? Even the
came.
government has said, yes,
Yes,
it
it
came in.
came.
What's so difficult in publishing and saying this is the accounts of how the money was spent? And if a certain amount, let's just say 20 billion went to a certain ministry, it's up to the ministry to account from
Absolutely.
that. But let them tell us
Absolutely.
that this money came in and went to certain institutions.
Mike, that has been said, and even it was in yesterday's paper. Again, when we had a Jubilee press conference, we distributed to all media houses. I don't know why you people don't want to print that. We distributed to all media houses what exactly came and how it went. The truth of the matter is, which we want to repeat, the money came. I think let us first of all go from the known to unknown. The money came. It went into our budget. And I want to ask colleagues, right, to understand whether Eurobond was a borrowed money, right? they should explain that they are getting misleading. You know, this week we have been treated by a lot of lies. Number one, there was a problem of, there was mass graves. People ran there, and they realized that there was nothing. Now they went to Eurobond, the money got lost. Now they have agreed that the money came. They're saying, how did it go? And we have said this, and it was printed. Number one, that the money came, it went into our normal budget. What we should do now, which I agree, and they are free. Kenyans are free through the parliamentary processes or departments or committees which are relevant. Then we can now task a ministry of whichever ministry you want, and then say, look, you know what, you go this budget, how did you spend? That is where we should go. And these are open messages. And let me say this, Mike, and I want to help my colleagues here, and particularly on the court side. There is no problem in putting what you believe, if it is right, on a statement. Why they are not writing is because they know it's not true. They don't want to be taken. They don't want to be taken accountable. I just want to say, even tomorrow they'll say, no, I was misquoted by the press. But when they put it on paper...
No, the question is, why is it so difficult for the opposition to come out and say, fine, you've given us and troubleshoot, or rather poke holes into the statement and say that here you've lied, here you've lied. Just simple statements.
We have done that a total of 6 times. But there's something that Mheshimiwa is not responding to here, which is Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act dictates that you cannot have a commission without commissioners. Summons cannot be issued without the seal of the chairman, kweli ama uongo. Summons cannot be issued without a delegation of authority from the commissioners to the CEO. Where did these summons come from? How do you go and record a statement in front of an improperly constituted authority? Can he tell us? You know, they've been alleging that we are acting as though we are above the law. You know, we are better than our counterparts on the other side. Remember, none other than the president himself defied the courts, the Court of Appeal, when it made a ruling on the teacher's salary. We don't do that kind of thing. All we're saying is that properly constitute the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Authority, properly constitute it, and we'll be more than happy to present ourselves before it. But until that is done, who are you asking us to record a statement with? In fact, those summons were signed by an inspector of the police. They are not signed by any authority from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. So who are we recording a statement with? And then, moreover, why I requested him to familiarize himself with the Constitution is that public officers have an obligation to be accountable to the people of Kenya who pay their salaries through taxes. You don't have to wait for us to come to you to tell you, please show us where this was spent, please. As a matter of incumbency, you should take it upon yourself before those questions are raised to be transparent. These are some of the principles that we tried to enshrine within the Constitution that they are now sweeping under the rug.
All right, Honorable Singh, you seem to be very defiant and refuse on that. But answer his question on the constitution of the EACC. The fact that it, if I would use Raila's words, he says it's a headless chicken.
You see,
through their own action as parliamentarians, by the way.
Let me tell you, what the other side, of course I don't want to say this guy the other side, because this is just a Kenyan. If he was a parliamentarian, then I would have known exactly which side is he, because he's just a Kenyan. He's a Jubilee guy, I know him. So, but Jubilee,
I think you're confused. I'm the Secretary for Science, Technology and Innovation for ODM.
That's what I'm saying. He's a Kenyan. He might even vote for Jubilee, right? If he was a politician, then I know what I was going to say. But my brother...
Is there a difference between a politician and a Kenyan?
I'm wondering.
Yes, there is.
Maybe because, the Jubilee side.
Because this is a Kenyan, the other one a parliamentarian.
Okay,
and they have,
to your point.
But what is the point? The point here is let us leave lies aside. And my colleague here, a lawyer, said the truth. Let them put whatever they want to say on paper. Now, fine, they are bringing issues on EACC, but they were asked by Rotich, just come and look at the books. They don't want to go this place, they don't want to go that place, they don't want to, let me tell you, Mike, these guys don't want to do anything because they want to live on lies. But it will end. They started with sugar, they made a noise for about 1 week, it went. Then they went to the other one, now they went to Graves in Northeastern, they sang for a day, it went.
We can't ignore that there was NYS, which seems to have also
791 million shillings
the president himself said there was a problem in NYS. He said during a presidential
no, he
rally
actually
here.
denied
he
it.
Said he didn't. He said, and by the fact, my brother, let us call a spade, and that is where we differ. When the president says something which is true, he said there's a problem in NYS, and I'm going to address, and he done it. He's addressed it. So let us not live in lies. Let us tell Kenyans the truth. The money came. If it is Eurobond, the money came. What I will ask our colleagues is, go to the ministries, right? We've printed, we even circulated how money went to ministries. They have it, the media have it. Let them then go to the ministries and ask where the money went.
Let me come
the
to
money
Bruce
came.
Let me come to Weda. Weda,
So
please
please
give
don't
us
give a life, my
direction.
brother.
What do we need to do? What does the government need to do in order for us to have this over and done with?
I think
Or
our
dealt with
government
and
should
dealt with.
understand that first and foremost, Honorable Raila is playing politics. Politics of 2017. Okay? And he is a master at it. He has done it before. So one thing, let us not put in its place jailer, police, detention. He will just worship God and say hallelujah. Let them bring the jail.
When you say he's playing politics, are you saying that there's no fact in what he's saying about the
coming to the
Eurobond?
next. So I'm telling my colleagues, maneno ya polisi na nini na jela, let's leave it. He's playing politics, so he will get something, some fact, which may be true. He will cling to it and maximize on it. Therefore, to deal with him family, when he raises an issue, the Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. The truth is with government. So when he says Eurobond has not come, we show him on this day Eurobond came, this is the evidence, he will leave it. When he says this money is lost, you say, oh, we shared it like this, like this, like this, here it is. He will leave it. But when we also Jeremiah, he will drum it. And he has 5 million supporters who voted for him, who believe in him. So he's not talking at government. He's talking at his supporters.